Hello everyone, this is Ron from iTechLegion, and hard drive prices have finally normalized compared to pre-flood levels. Of course, referring to the big flood in Southeast Asia that pretty much decimated all the hard drive plants out there. That not that hard drives grow on trees. I mean plants as in the plants where they assemble these hard drives. Well, now that prices have settled, the prices have finally gone down to affordable levels, and we can all enjoy pretty much very good deals on 2 terabyte, 1 terabyte drives, and even now we have a 4 terabyte drives. Now you're looking for an external backup solution. Maybe you want a NAS, but it might be too expensive for you, or it might be too complicated for you. Or you might also be considering an external enclosure, but might not have the features you need. For example, you might want the RAID features of a NAS, but you don't want the full-blown NAS experience. Then you might consider something like the ICYRaid MB662U3-2S. This is the new version which has USB 3.0 connector. They also had an earlier version which had a FireWire and USB 2.0, and well, there are very few people who still use FireWire these days, and the USB 2.0 is a lot slow. And of course, USB 3 is widely adopted, and this new version also brings about other improvements into the design. Not in terms of the look. It actually has that signature. You can see the box there. It has that signature unibody aluminum, sleek aluminum-looking shell there, but in terms of the functionality in the back, when I unbox it, you'll see what are the changes compared to the MB662U, let me just read the box again, USEB-2S-1. Quite a mouthful. That's the one that has the USB 2.0 FireWire and eSATA connector. Also, let's just take a look at inside the box and see what we can find inside. Inside you get the power adapter, which each box is labeled here, so it's no confusion, and pretty straightforward. Let's see what the power brick is like. It has 100 to 240 VAC input. It's pretty much compatible anywhere, and basically 12 volt 4 amp power brick here, and essentially you have 2 cables here, one that connects to the wall, standard 2-prong connection for North American users, and it connects into the brick itself, and of course the end that connects to the unit. You can see that the cable here is very long. We'll measure it later, and I'll just put that aside for a bit. Let's see what we can find here. You have a USB 3 cable. As it's a bit tight there, so might need to poke it through the other side. There we go. That's the box side. You have the sound USB 3 connector in the end. So it's the type A or type B sort of connector there. It has the blue color as well. And of course the main unit itself. Just pull it out. ICY has several products like the MB662. You see here that actually has this very sleek looking aluminum cover. Check that out here. There's a silica gel to prevent moisture from getting in there. And inside here you have the user's manual. See that it is multilingual. And let me just grab a couple of drives here before we take a closer look at the ICY MB662 dual RAID bay enclosure, so we can see how the functionality goes. There's also a warning sign here just in case you didn't notice that. You have the just basically warning you to back up your data. Well, anyway, let's go move in the camera for a closer look, and let's see how to put in these drives in there. Right before we proceed with the installation, you can see the physical IC dock MB662 unit here first. At the top, you have the release latches for the front doors. So just press that down and pop out. Two doors there. Well, I wish they would have been a bit more sturdy, although they don't really move when you close them. There you go. Just pop that down. You can see what it looks like inside. Two bays for the 2 3.5 inch drives, and they're essentially trayless, and you just need to slide it in. And you also have these ventilation holes in the front. If you look closely, well, as you can see there, that I wish the door was, like I mentioned earlier, a little bit more kind of sturdier on that part. Although once you close it, shouldn't really move around too much if the drive is in there. At the bottom, you have the feet has these silicone stands that prevent it from generating too much noise when it's in operation. And the body itself is very sleek, kind of all aluminum covered. You can see just how thick that aluminum is, and provides plenty of protection for the drives inside, and also it should absorb a lot of the heat. And speaking of heat, of course, you have these ventilation holes are for the intake. While there is a fan here, this is one of these maglev fans that ICYRaid has been using on some of their products, and it also has that fan adjustment. By default, this is here. It's actually at the lowest setting right now. You can just keep on just moving it up. This is an analog fan speed control to kind of ramp it up whenever you need to. And you also have the USB 3, of course, connection to connect to your computer. You have the locking option you can use there, and the on and off toggle switch. The power adapter in here attaches on that bottom. You have the LED controls here. Right now they're in the on position. You have two options, one for the power saving option and the LED indicator. You just need to toggle them upwards if you need to disable at least one or two or both of them. You have the reset button right in the middle, and of course the RAID switches we have right here. JBOD, Big, RAID 0, RAID 1. RAID 1 is more of the mirroring option. RAID 0 is for speed. Of course, you want the maximum speed for two drives. While you have the big setting here, is well, when you set it to that setting, what happens is, even if you have maybe a 4 GB or 3 TB drive combined, it will read it as 7 TB total, and it essentially combines them into one big drive. A JBOD essentially is when it's in JBOD mode or just a bunch of disks, it essentially is just acting as a regular enclosure, and it's reading two separate drives. Well, here at the front, let me just show you how to put in a drive in there. So of course, release the bay cover, and you have the hard drive connector position sticker there just to kind of indicate for you. And of course, take your drive. It is recommended to take, of course, fresh drives when you're going to be raiding, and also try to have drives that are identical. So I have two 1 TB drives here from Seagate. According to the manual, it's not recommended to use Western Digital desktop drives. This is just a standard desktop drive from Seagate. We'll see if it has any issues with this one, but the manual didn't say anything about it. But according to the manual, Western Digital desktop drives do not support the RAID modes. Only their enterprise drives do for this enclosure. So just keep that in mind. There you go. So what we do is, of course, to pop in this drive inside, you follow the hard drive connector position. That means the SATA data is at the bottom and the SATA power is on top. And just basically slide it in. Let's see there. There you go. And just push in. And for our second drive, and do the same thing. Just break the seal here.
align it once again. And just pop it up until it locks. You can see there that the front doesn't move as much anymore since it is closed, and of course it's quite heavy. So let's check out the. Let me just find the power adapter here and check out the LEDs. Of course, plug in the power at the back, and then we flip it on. You can hear that fan running there. And take it out and turn it on without the drive so you can see the LEDs. What would happen to the LED if you don't have the... So you have to pull out a drive there. You just push it downward. It pops out. There you go. And you can pull out your drive. It's as easy as that, since it is trailless. See, it has that red color. Showing the LED there. The solid red LED means is either a hard drive failure or a empty bay, as you see here, since we don't have any drives there. A solid white LED is for rebuilding the RAID 1, and when the LED is flashing and it turns off, that means it was verifying, and then it confirmed the drive. That's why the LED was off after that. But it will, once you're actually reading the drive, it will read that as a flashing white LED. And that's pretty much it. What I'm going to do now is, of course, grab my USB 3 cable here, test out the performance, of course pop in my drives inside and see is how well the ICYRaid MB662, I'm trying to remember the full name here, MB662U3-2S USB 3.0 3.5-inch SATA screwless dual bay RAID enclosure performs.
Well, definitely another great product from ICYRaid, and just you can see from that angle that this single unit body design just looks quite sexy. It's we've seen this before in their other enclosure. It has the aluminum frame, and this actually you can see that it is quite thick. It's 2 millimeters thick of aluminum, and it's quite durable and it absorbs a lot of heat, a lot of impact, and also the fact that it's aluminum means it absorbs a lot of the heat, which makes the 40 millimeter fan here makes the job easier for that 40 millimeter fan. Also, this fan is extremely quiet. I was surprised how quiet this is. This is the Sunon Maglev 40 millimeter fan, and there's also a fan controller on the side. You can adjust it, and although even at maximum, it is still fairly quiet. Although one thing I did not like, of course, is the way it's placed right there, since it's hard to access with your thumb because it's somewhere in between, in the valley between this edge of the 2 millimeter aluminum shell and the protrusion of the fan. So it's a bit hard to access. But other than that, the RAID settings now are easier and faster to do because it doesn't require two different tools compared to the eSATA and USB 2.0 version of this enclosure. Well, they had the rotary dial. This one had essentially a linear switch here, And you can use, if you dig deep enough and you have a fingernail long enough, you can actually do this without tools. The same with the recessed switch here. It's not a pinhole switch anymore. It's definitely deep set, but you can still access it with your pinky finger or one of your long fingernails. And also, one thing I loved was the fact that it shuts down automatically when you shut down your computer. And you don't need to manually flick it off. So it can be, if your system is a bit farther away from your desk, for example, if your enclosure is farther away from your desk, just need to send a command on your computer and it will shut it off automatically. It will shut the drive off automatically, and then once you power on your system once again, it will power on at the same time. So of course, provided that the USB 3.0 connection has not been severed in between that, so it can actually receive the signal that the system is on. It's just, it makes sense. And that's pretty much it. Also, those are the things I liked. I didn't like the things I didn't like was the fan controller here on the rear, the way it's placed. Also, the cover here. Considering the shell is quite durable, the cover is from plastic, although there is that aluminum strip in the front. You can see that it does rattle when there's nothing inside, but it was, as I demonstrated, it was quiet when there was nothing. When it was fully populated, it wasn't moving like this. This is actually part of the design, part of their anti-vibration. You can see that this aluminum strip right here, and there's a counterweight there inside. There's a counter spring inside that I can pull on this cover, and that absorbs a lot of the vibration. That's why there was no noise at all when the drive is being read inside. And it does well in dampening the noise, but the result, of course, is that it looks like it is moving around. Of course, it is moving around because it allows for it gives allowance for movement for the drive when it's inside there. But of course, for most people, it looks like the cover is just moving like this. But I mean, it gets the job done. It's not like it's gonna pop out the drive accidentally when you're running it, especially when it's just on top of your desk. So. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I'm readily giving this an Editor's Choice Award. Although keep in mind that I'm giving that award without knowledge of the price. Although unless of course they sell this for twice the price of other enclosures out there. But of course I doubt it compared to if you know the price of the FireWire or the USB 2.0 version, it'll probably be somewhere around there as well. When you see it, and also relatively compared to the price of other enclosures in the USB 3.0 enclosure market, it will be competitive. I give you an Editor's Choice Award for all the nice features and the fact that the RAID was very, very easy to set up. All you just need to do is flick the switch, hit the reset button, and you're good to go. Of course, make sure you format your disk properly before it can be read. If it's not formatted, you won't be able to see it on Windows. And also, it is Windows and Mac compatible. So for those, I believe the spec says Mac OS X Time Machine compatible, and it also supports a 4 terabyte drive, so a total of 8 terabyte drive for storage in total. And that's pretty much it. This is Ron once again from High Tech Legion, and you can click on the link below for the full review. Also leave questions or comments, and also visit us Facebook, Twitter, and our forums. Just click on the more info below. You can see all of those links there. And once again, this is Ron signing out.